Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Aparna, and I am delighted to have one of my favorite clients here with me, Shawn Zarkowski. Shawn is a long-term government employee, and he's been coming to my classes for probably as long as I've been teaching them, about 5, 6 years now. And these are workshops on meditation. So it's actually a bi-weekly session on meditation that is offered in many of the government agencies around DC and has been even before COVID we started. So I wanted to share this especially because there are a lot of benefits to having a consistent and long-term practice that oftentimes gets overlooked. I know meditation is really hyped these days, but we have someone here who, Sean has been practicing for so long. So welcome, Sean.
Thank you. Hi, Aparna. Hello, everyone.
And you usually do it remotely because you're based out of San Diego.
That's correct.
So how
Yes.
long have you been with the government?
I've been with the government, I believe, since 2014, or I'm sorry, 2004. So it's been quite a while. It's about
Oh my
over
gosh, wow. And so I think that this meditation program was started back in right before COVID, like 2018, 2019, from what I remember. And so Sean is taking advantage of most of the meditation sessions. You're bi-weekly, right? You do it's about a 20 to 30 minute session. And we do a lot of breath work. We do some meditation, and we really take the time to just go inward. So there's a lot happening in the external world. We take this time to just go inward and meet ourselves where we're at. So with that, Sean, please share like what's happening with you.
well, I was very thankful to find the meditation program because going back through my life, I think that the main reason that I started with meditation was that I've always tended to feel like I suffered from anxiety a bit, and I didn't know how to handle it. A lot of people have told me I'm a very creative person, um, quick-witted, different things of that nature. But with that, my mind is always working. It doesn't really slow down, and there's a lot of good things I think that come with that. There's also a lot of things sometimes an anxiousness that will come with it. So someone had recommended meditation, so I was very thankful to find that. I tried a few different things online. I'm going to give you a compliment upon it, is that voice is very important. Voice is very important to me. I've tried some different things like through maybe YouTube or different avenues, and like it just didn't click with me. So right away, when I started to do it with you, the calmness of your voice and the way you ran the classes really resonated with me, and I
Thank
and
you.
I started to notice some benefits right away, which were um, like that what I started to notice were things that I didn't know that I had issues with, which, for example, I had a lot of muscle tension and different things like that. And I sit a lot, right? And even when I exercise, and I felt a certain way, but I was able when I started to do the meditation and start doing my breath work and different things like that, and really not something I can do on my own, but when you guide me through it, that I started to notice that I was able to relax muscles that I didn't even know that I had this tension
Mm.
in. And that was one of the things that were really great. And I remember I had told you a story years ago about I went out to Sedona and I went on a family trip, and I decided to just sit and out on a rock, and I meditated, and I just let go for about an hour and a half. And the way I
Wow.
was kind of sitting, typically, I would be really, really, usually getting up and really sore, and my body just felt so relaxed and so refreshed, and that was one of the main benefits physically. And then, of course, the mental parts of it that we could talk about too.
Now I have to say Sedona is a very, very kind of it's an energy vortex and it just pulls even if people have never meditated before, it is a space that really pulls you deep within to go meditative, all that the pink and the red rocks and so forth. So I'm not surprised that you were easily able to sit for an hour and a half there and just meditate. But I have to say, well, so they say sitting is the new smoking, right? So sitting, and so it's really, really important in our desk jobs, of which I know firsthand too. Like when I was always in that career or high strung mode, I was always hunching forward, right? So my heart was not open. Now I notice with meditation and also the breath work and the yoga and everything, I'm able to actually show up with an open heart. So that's kind of my wish and intention for the classes, is to really help us open up more, right? So that we can be more present. We can be there for our employees and just people around us.
Yeah.
So if you've had any experience with your employees, you seem very calm to begin with, but have people noticed a change in you? How does that all play out?
They do because the interesting thing about me is that my voice is usually very calm either way. But
Mm-hmm.
on the exterior, I may look calm, but on the interior, I wasn't always so calm. Like because my mind would always be racing, going different ways. So people have noticed a big difference in me because some of the things that they really notice is that the positivity that comes out of me. Because even with some of the things when we meditate, I'll take that out and bring that in, and there might be a situation where a calming presence is needed. And I'm in that state where I can bring people into that and calm them down.
Mm,
And they definitely notice that because for myself, where I really notice it is that how I'm able to focus better. It's just that when once I do it, it's like I'm all over the place, and sometimes it's not something that I feel like happens overnight, right? Like I think like hey, let's say I'm in a good mode and I'm meditating for quite a while. And let's say I stop. I may not go back to square one after a week or two, right? But then I started to notice that the exterior things of life and all start to come back around to you. And then it starts to get a little bit overwhelming. And then I noticed that when I started to really meditate consistently, I started to feel good all the time because I would carry that into like the next few days and be able to focus myself. And I look forward to getting into the sessions because when I can, I feel like it's something I'm doing for me, and then
nice.
lots of benefits. I feel when I'm not focused, I can't be creative, and the thing is that when once we finish up with these, that's when I feel like I really start to get my mind going in the right direction with things. I could focus on a task and get it done better and things of that nature.
Yeah, and I think that's why in meditation we say it's best to start in the morning too, to do a little bit, like even if one thing, 5 or 10 minutes or something, just to center ourselves so that we can get those creative juices flowing, because life comes at us pretty quickly in our workday. And so it's helpful there. But I know you're a manager, so does it help you in like dealing with your team and the people around you? How does that play out? Has it been helpful there?
Absolutely, absolutely, because the the thing is when you're managing people, you have lots of different personalities to work
Yeah.
with,
Yeah,
and sometimes the things that come at you, you're a human being as good as you try to be with things that you can get angry at different things,
yeah.
right? So, and especially when you're not thinking clearly because you react. And it's so I know it's definitely kept me focused as far as uh, keeping me calmer, being able to push out a good positive messaging to people because what's fun about it is for me personally is that once we usually finish the session, uh, this was really surprising to me is because I'm not a morning person. I'm usually fairly tired when I get in, and I'm sitting at my desk and we do the breath work, and all of a sudden I feel really refreshed, and then I just feel better for the rest of my day. And I walk out and I give somebody a smile, and I can't really explain it. It's just a positivity, but it's really nice and it's very well received. So yes, I think it's definitely helped me in that in my relationships with people, not only at work but in personal too.
Yeah, I mean the power of presence, right? I think it's just we don't recognize it in ourselves sometimes, but then as we start showing up, I noticed that with people in the grocery store and stuff. I notice people just kind of are smiling or will respond better to me when I've spent like a lot of time.
Yeah.
I,
You reminded me of something too that you and I had talked about a long time ago. We're at the beginning when we were talking here in this, I had mentioned the anxiety, right?
mhm,
And something that I had problems with, or and I remember the book that I was talking about that I read was like The Power of Now, right? Because I really
mhm.
struggled
I
with
could
being
totally.
present. I worried a lot about the past, and I worried about what was coming next, but I could never really be present. And the thing was, is I really didn't know how to put the practice of presence together until I started meditating. I would read about it, how to be present, and different things like that, but I couldn't do it. Um, and that's what I was very thankful with the meditation part, was because that's where the anxiety went away. Was that presence doesn't just last for that 15 to 20 minutes. The presence just starts to, like you said, extend to the grocery store and the conversations that I have with people, and and I noticed in the past that it used to be that when I would talk to people, I could have a conversation with you that would just be like this, but I would be thinking about 50 other things and not really enjoying the moment of the conversation. And over time, I started to really be able to enjoy it. And I think even though maybe I'm saying the same words, I don't know if it's a feeling or not, but I think people can really feel the presence and the caring of when I'm talking with them.
I say so. I think you've got a very calm and calming presence. So, I mean, if you were my boss, I would feel good about working for someone who takes the time to really embody their presence and really take care of their own inner leader or however I want to, however you want to think of that. But because it is really important, it's important whether we manage people or not, but I think we show up for so many people when we don't even know it, right? So we come across people, and so it's our responsibility to ourselves and to the world around us to show up in a very positive and lighthearted way, especially so I have to ask this question because we are in the middle of 2025 here. How are things? I know things are highly stressful right now, with people fearing losing their jobs, and I know people have called me specifically about this. So how are, is it helping to, well, one, to do the meditation, but are you taking on some other things right now that really help you stay centered?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically the way I think of meditation as self care,
Right.
right? And that's the thing, because when times get challenging, look, I'm a parent of twin boys too. I have a stressful life. I have two teenagers and different things. So,
Oh, wow.
um, and the thing I noticed, another thing that I would do is I would give a lot of myself. I gave a lot to my employees, always, to my family, to my kids.
Mm.
And but the part that I would forget about was myself, taking care of myself first. And I started doing things with meditation. It helped me get back to exercising at the gym, and it really got me focused back to do those things. And those are the things I would recommend to people. But what I really like about the meditation part is that I always grew up working out at the gym and stuff, and I would work my body, and I got some good mental benefits from that too, because it was a good stress reliever and all that. But I wasn't really going in and doing the self thought, self evaluation that I get through meditation, which is what I like. I feel like I'm now starting to take care of my mind as well as my body. And I think those things are really, really important because uh, worrying doesn't really do anything. It's easier said than done because worrying doesn't help the situation at all or stressing out about it. But just because you know that doesn't mean that you don't, right? That's where I struggle, and I notice that it helps prepare my mind a lot better for the things that are coming.
I think mental fitness is how I like to look at it because most of us know we need to go to the gym, but when it comes to the mental fitness, sometimes we say, oh, when I have more time, or I wish I had time for that. So I'm glad we're embarking on a time now where it's becoming, I mean, I've seen people put this on their resumes. I've seen people put meditation, breath work, all these kinds of things on their resume, which I think is great, right? Because it shows your commitment to yourself and self-care, like to your point. So,
I think I wanted to stop you with that. Is the thing I find really interesting about the mental care part is that, you know, uh, I was an athlete in the past, and and you can kind of tell when your body, how you look, how you feel, different things like that, right? But I
Hmm.
didn't notice until I started to really focus on the mental part with the meditation, is that you don't realize how far off of center you're getting until
Hmm.
you start to meditate. You know what I mean? Like you basically, the thing is that you don't understand how good you could actually feel. And that's the thing, is that I felt like I was living my days, and sometimes they're tolerable, some days are better than others. But
Hmm.
then once I get the opportunity to really see what it feels like to really be present, it's a gift. And then it's like, no, I want to do it. It gets a little bit of a good addiction that you want to keep doing it because you want to get that feeling back. And that's something that I didn't realize, is that because I'd gained a little weight before in the past, I'd be like, oh, okay, I need to work on this. But I didn't realize it's a lot harder to identify sometimes, um, how mentally unfit we are, until you get fit.
Yeah, and I think that's why a lot of meditation teachers say that it's more important when you don't think you need it, you probably need it. Right?
Yeah,
Because in a good day, we're all good. We're like, yeah, it's nice, and we're feeling good. But when you feel like, oh my God, I don't have any time for meditation and I can't slow down, that's when I think it's like, okay, it's time to. And with our sessions, we've seen that these are only like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. They're not that much time-wise, including, and that's why I incorporate a lot of breath work because otherwise it would take us like 15 minutes just to get centered. So the breath work really helps dial us in, and then we go into meditation a lot easier. And that was something personally I had experienced because before I learned breath work, I was trying to meditate long before that, and I never knew why I couldn't. Because I would spend a lot of time going over my daily to-do lists and everything that was in my mind, just processing for like, it would take me 20, 30 minutes to get into the actual meditation. So once I got learned breath work, then I realized, wait, that's the breath work that's also key to being. And now you've kind of come to a point where now you're never going to turn back, right? So
yeah.
so it's so nice to have you share your experience because I think it will go a long way. I don't want people to be shy about it. I want people to just be open to experiencing the meditation and meet themselves where it is. So with meditation, one thing that's really important, we come at it from wherever we are in our own lives. And so never like it's not, some people say I will start when my mind starts to settle down. No, 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 no. So we start when we where we are, and then you will see wherever, wherever the journey leads you, we take it and we flow with it. And the best part is that eventually, you can start tapping into our creativity, our intuition, and all these subtler qualities that we all have, men, women, child, whoever we are. And that's when it gets really good. So, is there anything else you want to share, Sean?
Well, it's funny, we're talking so much, but I had forgotten about the breath work part, and that's the part I really love, because when we start doing it, I realized that how, again, you don't really know. I don't notice it so much during my day when I'm not paying attention to it, but how I'm not breathing the way I should be breathing, and and taking the time to do that. I Yeah, I love the fact that I get to do it, because the one thing that, if I had to take one thing away from meditation I really like, is that I'm learning to love myself. I'm learning to, through the meditation, of being good with being alone with my own thoughts and with myself, and feeling good about that. And I'm enjoying my time when I'm by myself, whether it's like, say I was just sitting waiting for someone outside anywhere. I feel like I'm not just sitting anymore. I feel like I'm using that time better to stop and better myself. And and I don't ever feel like I'm wasting time anymore. I feel like that I'm being productive when I'm doing the meditations, and sometimes they're not full on meditations. They're really just stopping and just getting present. But I didn't know how to do that before. I feel really thankful to you for that.
Yeah, of course. And thank you for sharing that about self-love because that's key. and especially for a man to admit that, because a lot of times people think, oh, self-love, yeah, my wife does that, my girlfriend does that, but men don't, I feel like men, although they don't say it, I think, even men need to take the time to acknowledge themselves and just be present for yourself, and practice self-love.
Yeah, I know a lot of guy friends that they kind of call it they suffer in silence a lot. They don't like to
Yeah,
talk it out. And the thing is once you start talking and you lend your ear to them, they feel really good when they can get that out. So that's not something I'm afraid to talk about because
good.
hey, gotta love ourselves. We got to spend all day with ourselves, right? So there you
Right,
go.
exactly. No matter who we are. So, and the vulnerability piece, it's nice just to. I remember in one of our classes, I really appreciated you sharing this whole thing about self-love because it gives permission to just be vulnerable, whether you're a man or a woman or, whoever you are. It's just that vulnerability piece. I mean, I know I struggle with being vulnerable with people in public. And it just gives us permission to just say it's okay. It's okay. To be vulnerable, to be open. And I really, really appreciate that. So thank you so much for that is a very important nugget in this conversation that I hope more people to embrace. Just being okay to be themselves and to love themselves no matter who we are. So with that, thank you so much, Sean. I hope that we always keep doing this, and I'll check in with you in a little bit and see how everything's going. And I'm so glad you're still within your government agency.
Yeah, thank
So
you.
yeah, thank you so much, and thank you, everyone. We'll check in soon.